Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com. In this tutorial we're going to look at if-else-if. So in the last tutorial I created this project where we have we output a menu and we ask the user to enter their selection, and then we take different actions depending on the range of values that are entered. Well, here we're checking to see if they entered a specific value, and here we're checking ranges. What we usually want to do with a menu like this is to check each of the possible values. So we don't really, it's not elegant at all, it's quite ugly to have multiple if-else's in your program. What we want is one statement that can check all of these different values, and we can do that with a if-else-if statement. So let's delete this here, and if you've tried the code yourself from the previous tutorials, then you should find this pretty easy, hopefully. So I'm going to type here if, and let's say value, that's the value that the user entered, equals 1. And then we can say cout adding new record ... endler. And of course you could have anything in this menu, it's just a made up example. And we've seen that you could have an else on there, but what we can also do is we can type else space if value equals 2, and then we can say let's say cout deleting record, and we can have as many of these else if clauses as we like. Be sure that you don't leave any blank lines under here, because it'll compile, that'll still run, but it just looks really messy. And also be very, very careful to indent the stuff between these brackets with an extra tab. And it's good practice, I think, when you're beginning especially, to just use the auto format anyway, just to double check. Go to right click source, format, just to double check that your formatting is good. That's a really important thing to get right. Okay, so let's copy this else if, and we'll have 3 more of them. 2, 3. So we can check 3, 4, and 5, and I'll use the shortcut, which is on a Mac is Command Shift F, to format these to save me some time. And so option 3 should be viewing record, let's say. Option 4, we can have searching, and probably should say initiating search or something, but you get the idea. And we can also combine if-else-if with else. So what if they enter some other value here that isn't 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? We can say finally here else and cout invalid option. So what's going to happen here is the compiler, well, the program is when it's compiled, is going to work down these different options one after the other, and as soon as it finds one that evaluates to true, it's going to stop there. So you can only have only one of these options is going to execute, and that's important to keep in mind. So we're going to check here, is the value 1? If not, go to the next one. Is it 2? If not, next one. Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? And else, if it's none of those, we're going to do this. So let's output this now. Let's run it. So let's check 1, adding new record. Let's try 5, quitting. Let's add something else. Let's try some other input like 0 or 500 or something. And it says invalid option. So another really important basic building block of C++. So to practice this, probably the best way is create your own menu here and check the different options and use an if-else-if-else. So it should be pretty simple if you followed the last tutorials. I just want to finish up by pointing out something important here. I've said that you can use conditions like this with strings, and here we're using it with integers. And you might wonder, can you use conditions, can you use ifs with floating point values? Well, let's try. So I'm going to say here float. In fact, what I'll do is I'll comment this out. I'll comment out the block of code temporarily. We've seen that you can create a comment, a one-line comment like this. This is a comment, and that can be really useful if you want to just comment 1 or 2 lines of code. You can also comment a whole block like this. Type /star, and then at the end of where you want the comment to end, type */. Whoops, so you need a // there. This is a // It's like if you go from left to right, you'll be going up the hill. If you imagine this is a sort of hill, that's a // and you need /* and then end in */. And multi-line comments like this, they're great for creating, big chunks of information that you need to put in your program, and they're also really great for commenting out blocks of code. So if there's something that you don't need at the moment, maybe you're debugging your program and you want to stop some bit of code executing, but you don't want to get rid of it completely, you can use */ and /* to comment out that code temporarily. So now this program will do nothing. But don't get carried away with that, because if you do comment out code, it's best if you're really not going to need it ever, then delete the code or just put it somewhere else. I've seen a lot of code that has lots and lots of commented out blocks in it that are there for years, and it just looks horrible and terrible. So don't leave unnecessary code in permanently. It's good as a temporary thing usually. So what I want to show you is I'm going to write here float value equals, let's say, 4.5, and let's say if value equals 4.5, then cout value, cout, let's say equals endler, else cout not equal. So you'd think, looking at this code, that it should say that this is equal to this, because we set it equal to 4.5 and we're testing 4.5 in the equality. But if we run it, it says, well, here it says it is equal actually, which I'm a little surprised. Let's try something else. Let's try 1.1 maybe. 1.1. Hopefully I can demonstrate this to you. Now it says not equal. So what's going on here? And basically, if you compare flow with equals, the behavior of it is going to be pretty unpredictable, really. So it's best just not to do it, just leave it alone. Depending on your compiler, your system, whether you use floats or doubles or whatever, you might find that it works as you expect, but you might not. And I think the best thing there is just to leave it alone. Don't use equals with floating point values. The reason is that, as we've seen in the previous tutorial, floating point values are not stored with infinite precision, because you've only got so much computer memory. So if we actually output this float value, let's do it. So I've actually already included IO manip at the top, and we have seen this before, and that allows me to do this, cout. Let's output it in fixed notation. So I want it to write all the numbers out rather than using scientific notation. And I can use set precision from IO manip. Let's set it to 10. And then we can output the value. And this is stuff that we've seen in a previous tutorial. Let's run that. And we see that, in fact, the float value, when it comes up, is not precisely equal to 1.1 because of the difficulty of storing stuff in the computer memory with perfect precision. But what you can safely do with floating point numbers is you can certainly use less than or greater than. So we can say if value is greater than 1.2. I know that's always going to work because well, at worst, I suppose this could come out as being equal to 1.14 or something, but 1.1 is definitely going to be less than equal to 1.2. So don't get too detailed with it. Like it's best not to start doing is it less than 1.11. Well, that's going to work in this case, but I would say be careful and be aware that your number is gonna it's going to have in effect some extra numbers on the end of it that are going to be basically garbage, and you're safe if you're comparing it kind of to the next number up, 1.1, 1.2, it's fine, but don't use equals equals, and don't try to get too detailed. Don't do stuff like like this, because will it work or will it not work? Probably in this case, but it's getting a bit dodgy, because who knows what this number actually is in the computer memory. Don't use equals equals, and be careful when you're comparing floats and doubles, because that can catch you out. So I'm going to uncomment this now. So for practice, create your own menu system and use if-else-if-else to check the different values. Or if you can think of some other program, maybe using strings or even doubles with comparisons greater than or equal to, or floats, then make something up and try it yourself. But the important thing is to try if-else-if-else and make sure that you can actually successfully get it working. So in the next tutorial, I think what we'll do is we'll look at some more advanced conditions, because you can combine conditions. And I want to get on as soon as possible, really, to looking at loops, because that even makes the program a whole other level of interesting and gives you a lot more power. But we've got maybe one or two little things to look at before we get to loops. So that's it for this tutorial. You can find more videos on my website, which is caveofprogramming.com, like a huge amount of free stuff there. And until next time, happy coding.